Hey y'all, it's me, JShaw71. I thought I would talk a minute about, or 10 minutes, about the Star Wars Rogue One trailer, which, is, to me, a little weird. It's like, why do we need, excuse me, why do we need a story about how the Rebel Alliance got the plans to the Death Star? Is this, I guess from a story standpoint, it could be considered important, but they got the plans. They had the plans. There's no need to go back 30 years later and tell this story. So, basically, this is just, in my opinion at least, this is a reason for Disney to line their wallets with even more money with the Star Wars license. Now, we know that there's been questionable uses of the Star Wars license over the years. Star Wars Connect for one, as kind of a main example. But this is taking a story, or at least an event, that we know, and drawing it out into maybe an hour and a half, 2-hour movie, just so Disney can line their pockets with more money. I, for one, really don't intend on seeing it, and I have no reason to see it. I don't know about the character. I've never heard of her before. Whatever her name is, I forget. Why not do something in between, like Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens? That could be kind of cool. But no, we're gonna tell a 30-year-old story that, at least me as a viewer, have real no interest in knowing. Yeah, someone got the plans to the rebels. I assumed it was the rebels. Or the rebels reached out and, in this case, evidently found a ex-Imperial agent, or something to that effect. But anyways, I can't say that I'm really interested in seeing it, and I probably won't. And in all honesty, it's just a reason for Disney to pad its wallet with the Star Wars license. Like I said, I would have rather been happy seeing what happened in between Return of the Jedi and Episode 7. Episode 6 and Episode 7. Now, mind you, there's 30 years in between there to explore, but we could set it up. We could have Jason, is that his name? Han and Leia's son? I can't remember his name now. We could have their son being taught in the ways of the Jedi. It would probably kind of mirror Episode 2, now that I think about it, so maybe that's a bad thing. But, he could come to the Jedi Temple. They could show Luke teaching. I don't know who could fill in for Luke as a younger Luke right after Episode 6, pretty much. I wonder if it might, if this story is ever done, I wonder if it might follow the storyline of Jedi Knight 3, Jedi Outcast. Luke goes to Tython and starts training new Jedis in the ways of the Force. So, doing away with the one mentor and one Padawan theory, because there's such a hole in the Jedi Order, even after 30 years since Order 66 was given, which I'll get to that video eventually. I'm sure others have, so you may want to watch some more learned Star Wars fans. And, we could focus on Jason and how he's doing. I don't know why they sent him. I guess Leia sensed, maybe Luke did too, that he was a force sensitive, and he was sent to the temple, and he began to learn. But for some reason, it gets derailed. And he joins the dark side and becomes Kylo Ren. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen episode 6, by the way. Or 7, excuse me. Yeah, 7. I'm sorry. It's getting a little bit confusing with all these episode numbers. Just a little bit. I'm getting a little old in my age. But anyways, that's my thoughts on it. I mean, I would rather have seen what happened to the Skywalker family than see this random spy placed in the Imperial organization, the Empire, to get the plans. But that's another thing. I mean, Dooku had them on Geonosis. As far as I know, the Geonosians built the blueprints for the Star Wars, or made the blueprints for the Death Star, Death Star, not Star Wars. And we see him look at it as he's leaving the Geonosian council room, for lack of a better word. So he has them in hand. What happens, or, I mean, let's assume she somehow gets a copy of it. Would they, I guess they would be really that, they would have to be that detailed because they're building a working space station. Or a Death Star in this case. So, would it be kept on the constructed Death Star? And why send her then? Why not send someone after Dooku flees Geonosis after kind of besting Yoda? But it's just, it's not necessarily an important story to tell, or one that I want to have told to me, really. Honestly, here we have another scrappy young woman. Hand to God if she's from a desert planet. Disney, Star Wars, I know you love your arid desert planets, but hand to Bob. If I see another arid desert planet in this movie again, which we will in episode 8, unfortunately, I am going to, I don't know what. I'm not sure, but it's not going to be pleasant. And I'm going to find somebody on the Star Wars staff, like I can, and torture them, maybe. But pick a new environment. We've had swamps, we've had ice planets, we've had desert, arid planets, we've had forests. Could we move on from the idea of the arid desert planet? You've done this now in 2 movies that I'm aware of. There may be more. Well, I mean, Geonosis was kind of like an arid desert planet, but that's not where someone came from that joined the rebellion or turned to the dark side, so moot point. But anyways, it's just like, come on, pick a new environment. We've had city planets with Coruscant, which I hear talk that there might be a return, or a, I don't want to use the word reboot or remake, but I think they may go back to making Star Wars 1313. I think I heard a couple of months ago that they may be returning to that game, that LucasArts might be, and that's kind of a good idea, but I miss the classic blaster sound effects. Please add them back in. It feels weird without the classic blaster sound effects. If you could change just one minor thing, and that's kind of not so minor really, but just, if you have to lift them off the Blu-ray or DVD, get them out of your sound library. Just do something a little different. I know with episode 7 they kind of did a mix with the sound effects between old and new, which I think is sometimes the best way to do it. So if you could do that for Star Wars 1313 when you get it back on the development table, please do that. It sounds way too weird. Anyways, comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think of Star Wars Rogue One. Do you like the idea? Do you hate the idea? Do you want the story to be told to you? Would you like it seen in a different light, like I was talking about? Like maybe why Jason, maybe a more in-depth look at why Jason fell to the dark side. Though maybe that's a story for episode 8. I don't know. Maybe something else centering on the Skywalker family as a side story, but that's really, I guess, not kind of a side story in the Star Wars universe, is it? They're kind of the main focus, and I can understand that. I hope they'll do something, though. But anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Y'all have a good day, and I will talk to you later.